Hello, and welcome to another session of What the. Today's topic of discussion is vision and clarity. So, let's talk about what we perceive as an individual in regards to our own perceptions and how those perceptions create somewhat of a clarity in regards to what we understand to be true, and then the vision. How close can our vision come to our clarity? So it's kind of a realistic perspective. How do we gain that realistic perspective? The feasibility in regards to our vision quest. So, when I was younger, my vision quest, well, I liked Evel Knievel. That dude was the epitome of cool to me. I even had a toy where it was a wind-up toy, and he had us on a motorcycle, and you could wind up the toy, and he'd take off, and there was the action figure on top of the motorcycle, and he'd ride it. And I was like, that was cool. And plus, he was dressed in red, white, and blue, and had stars on his suit and his helmet. Well, I wanted to be like Evel Knievel, and I watched his son, Robbie Knievel, jump over the Caesars fountains in Las Vegas, which his dad had done previously, but his dad did it on a Harley Davidson, and Robbie did it on I think a 250 or something like that. And so the bike was lighter, but he still did it nonetheless. And his dad, he did it, and oh my goodness, his dad, yeah, he was awesome. So anyway, so following that, my vision was I liked that style. I always appreciated that style. I enjoyed that style of reckless abandonment in regards to just get it done and just do it and all that other stuff. So I had a vision when I was younger. I was like, I want to be like Evel Knievel. So, and then the clarity. How close could I come to being like Evel Knievel? Well, when I was younger, I got a Moto 1 dirt bike, and I bought it with a paper route. And so then at that point, I set up jumps in front of my house, and my dad had bricks, and I had a piece of plywood board, and I used to jump things. And I used to see how far I could jump, and we'd mark how far we'd jump on with chalk in the street. And so that was kind of it. And then I'd try and ride wheelies and so on. So I was kind of living that dream a little bit to a certain extent. And then I asked my parents, can I get a motorcycle? And they're all, no. Absolutely not. No motorcycle. No, you cannot. And I was like, I want a motorcycle. I have friends in the neighborhood that have motorcycles. I want to get a motorcycle. No, you got a bike, you can ride that. I'm like, ah, God. So I was never able to convince my parents to get me a motorcycle when I was younger. And my paper route went to the wayside, and so yeah, I didn't have any money to purchase anything at that point, and so on. So after that, I went to college and all that other good stuff, and then started a family, and then my buddy asked me if I could help him purchase a motorcycle with my credit because he was going through some financial troubles at that time. I said, yeah, absolutely, man, I can do that for you. So then I helped him purchase a motorcycle and so on, and he paid the whole thing off, and it was awesome. You know, he did a great job, and then he asked me, do you want to buy it from me, when he was getting ready to trade it back in. And I was like, huh. And then at that time I was raising my son. I was a single father. And so I'm like, well, the practical opportunity has come and gone. I have a son now, and now I need to think about, okay, you know, my son's future and me riding around on a dirt bike and having fun. So I was like, I'm going to have to pass on the opportunity, but thank you. So then time goes by, And I start thinking about, okay, maybe I'm at the age, where maybe I would like a motorcycle, but I don't know. And my son was going to college and all that other stuff and doing his own thing. And then my son purchased a motorcycle. And I was like, wow, my son purchased his own motorcycle. I think it's about time I got a motorcycle. So that was the moment of clarity I had, where my vision of getting that motorcycle became realistic because it was put right in front of my face in regards to my son has a motorcycle. I need to get a motorcycle. So after that, I had researched this motorcycle for 5 years. And I was like looking at this motorcycle. I was like, if I was ever to get a motorcycle, I would get that motorcycle. And that motorcycle was a BMW S1000RR. It is an awesome motorcycle. And I was thinking about getting a cruiser like a Harley Davidson or something like that. And I liked the Harley Davidsons. I was looking at a Road Glide and I was like, yeah, these are nice bikes, but I have to put money into it because the stock Road Glide is something that, I want to upgrade components on it, so on and so forth. But the S1000RR, that thing is built for the racetrack. It is an awesome bike. So I was driving around at my job, and then I went to I was dropping off newspapers and so on, and I drove past a BMW dealership, and lo and behold, had all these motorcycles in front. So I pull up to the dealership in my work truck. It was a big old delivery truck, and walk inside, and I ask, the manager at that point. I asked them, because the article I read was back in 2012 or 2013, and this S1000RR was off the charts at that time. And so I asked him, do you have any used 2012 BMW S1000RRs available? And he's like, nah, unfortunately we do not. He goes, but we do have a brand new one right over there. And I'm like, what? And then I went over there and I looked at it. I'm like, oh, that bike is awesome. It's red, white, and blue. They call it Motorrad. It was awesome. And I was like, I want that bike. And I'm like, how can I get that bike? And he's like, well, we have a special program right now. I'm like, okay, I want it. I filled out the paperwork, loaded it into the truck that day, into my delivery truck, drove it back to my work, and then rode home with it. So I finally got my bike. And that was my vision quest from when I was just a little kid. And it took me roughly 40 years to get that bike. But I got that bike and I had my moment of clarity. And then at that point I realized that, hey, you know what? I wanna get that bike and I wanna ride that bike. And yeah, I rode that bike, no accidents, rode over 14,000 miles, still have that bike today, and I love that bike. That bike is the best bike I have ever imagined. And I want to keep that bike for the rest of my life. That bike is my Evel Knievel bike, and I like that bike. So, always maintain your vision quest. Always maintain it. Remember what you enjoyed as a child. You always want to be a kid at heart. And remember, what do I enjoy? What do I enjoy? What do I enjoy? And then maintain that vision quest. And then at that point, when you have your moment of clarity and it all comes together, things happen. So anyway, this has been another session of What the